Now, other interesting cultural news, you have Jason Aldean's music video, Bending the Knee, unquote, unquote. Now, recently, Jason Aldean actually released a song called This Small Town about 2 months ago. And interestingly enough, no one really cared or noticed. I didn't even know it existed. Granted, I don't listen to too much music after the 1930s. Well, or no, 20s? I prefer classics overall, but it's one of those things where no one really noticed it come out. Didn't hit the charts, didn't go platinum, didn't really sell didn't break any records certainly. And then they decided to come out with a music video, which obviously is going to help because 90+% of body language communication is visual. So that's why music videos are probably a more prudent thing for every artist to do in the music industry, as well as podcasting like this. And within a couple days, actually within 12 days, it got 20 million views. Now, it was partially boosted in terms of popularity because it was first put on the country music television, or the CMT, I think is what they would call it, and it was pretty much immediately censored. And people said it was racist and evil. That increased attention exponentially. People tuned in and defended him like no tomorrow, and at the time, Jason Aldean stood by the film, or I guess in this case a music video, saying there's nothing in politics for. It is in no way against derogatory or against any specific race. It is really just about a small town and people protecting themselves and looking out for each other. And ironically enough, people who are saying it was racist, if you actually looked at the film or the clips that showed people rioting, a lot of them, what's a nice way of saying this, they're white folk. Guess what? A lot of the protests and violent protests, you had mixed races. It wasn't just one race doing it. It's pretty racist to say it was one race doing it. Now, it looks like after the controversy and hit 20 million views on YouTube alone, it was #1 in trending. It was #2 most downloaded on some platforms. Controversy does certainly sell, and in this case, it certainly did. So he got the fame for this. He got all the social credit for not bending the knee, to sticking to his guns. And now they're changing the music video. Why? I could only guess so much. Now, in terms of the specifics on what they did to the film, you have towards the beginning of the video, the original version showed images from a Fox 5 broadcast projected on the side of a courthouse, and it showed obviously individual people performing violent acts, and now they actually changed it so they just zoom in to a specific hand holding a Molotov cocktail. So that was the first change. Another change they did, there was a Fox 5 footage showing protesters and a Chiron reading, quote, "State of emergency declared in Georgia." Also appeared at the 121 mark in the original video. The new version replaces the footage with additional images of Aldean and the band performing outside the courthouse. So they got rid of that imagery completely, just put more of him in it. Now, the last major edit removes a clip from an unknown news broadcast about farmers dropping their crops to, quote, "aid a friend in need." How that's controversial is beyond me. Now, in the revised version, more footage of Aldean is performing replaces the appearance of the man saying, quote, "It's what this community and a lot of the farm communities stand for. Someone needs to help. Needs some help. They'll get it." And they got rid of that. So these are kind of what the people, kind of like a newspaper stealth edit, where you have the main thing, then a couple days later they just edit it without really letting anyone know or doing like an official announcement. And apparently they're doing this to get it back on the country music television channel. But why? Everyone who has wanted to see it has already seen it by now. I can't imagine they're going to get an increase in record sales because of this. There's a lot of speculation, as many media companies are more left-leaning, and many industries, and the whole industry is on average, if they're doing this just to acquiesce to their boss or producers, and there's still no official comment from Jason Aldean himself, and there's still no word if he was directly involved in this. But if he was not involved in this, he would have presumably tweeted or, let it know that, hey, I don't agree with this. This is BS. You're editing my video. This is against my artistic vision. It's fascinating to see they're just kind of bending the knee. And I don't see, unless he's secretly more on the left, or there's a lot of speculation as to why they're doing this. And from a business perspective, I guess it might be one way to win both parties if you see this as a political issue, where you have people on the right who are more country, God and freedom, and people on the left who are more not so much. If you see it as a political issue, maybe he's playing both sides, where when it first came out, no one cared. it got protested. So people on the right, who more often than not, they believe, well, free speech, you shouldn't be editing this. You have the original context, have the original content. He got all those people to view it. And now that he's editing it, perhaps he'll get more people who are traditionally on the left side of the political aisle. So it'll be interesting to see, is he trying to get 100% market share and sell controversy at the same time? A risky idea, but maybe it works. But it is interesting to see this kind of flip-flop, and I'm sure it won't be the last time it happens. But yeah, as I always say, it'll be interesting, but time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Also want to let everyone know we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so I greatly appreciate you taking the time to click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to take the time to comment and like. Those things really help out the videos get shared more and more. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.